more or less my when I was very young, I was brought up by my grandmother. So in the house, there were always shlokas, mentioned, and she used to tell me lovely stories. So maybe because of that, I had this strong faith. I just knew there was something divine that was invisible, but very much there. I would like to share one of the strongest first spiritual experience. I mean, I may have had many, but this particular one I'd really like to share. I used to work in Carmel Convent. Most of you know about it, and it was I don't know Ashwini whether no I think it was the LKG or I don't know which class, first standard students, the year that I had joined. I was put in, me and my colleagues, so A and B section, we were in charge of the children and they were singing a song. So there was this choir that, they had to put up. And the program was going on, and I was with the children in the room. And as soon as the program got over, we had already told the parents to come and pick up the children. So now you can imagine what a big responsibility it was to these kids. I think there must have been about 20-25 little ones, first standard children. So they were all sitting there, and two or three of us perhaps, we were monitoring them because little ones. And suddenly some of them left. Suddenly one lady came and she said, "Where is X?" I even remember the name. I think her name was Chaitra. She said, "Where is Chaitra?" So we said, "Chaitra, Chaitra." No Chaitra. It was scary. Again, I looked around. I knew the child very well. No, she wasn't there. Looked at her and said, "Ma'am, are you sure nobody has picked her up?" She said, "No, of course not. How can anybody pick her up? I have come just to pick her up." Again, I asked her, "Ma'am, by any chance, maybe, somebody else in the house, because she's not here." She said, "How can this be?" And she, started getting naturally. She said, "There's no chance. My husband has gone to Mysore and I was to pick her up, and how can she not be there?" Then, somehow keeping my composure, one, lovely strength that I have is the minute something goes wrong, I cool. I become very calm. So I cooled her down and
that's exactly
assured
what
her.
I do, Mom.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so happy you picked it up.
Unknowingly.
So, yeah, perhaps. So then I made her go and sit in the audience, and my colleagues and me discussed. Now, what do we do? Because this child is not there. So, they got really very frightened. I said, "Wait just a minute. Let me go check. Let me go outside." There's no chance the child could have gone out of the room, but even then. So I went around. Can you imagine? Only between programs there was light. Otherwise, there was no light. I gave because the audience was in darkness, right?
Yeah.
And, I gave myself 5 minutes because I didn't want to take a risk with the child also. I thought in 5 minutes, if I don't find her, I'm going to the back and I'm going to announce. I know I'm going to get into trouble. I mean, I felt I was responsible. Sister's going to scold me and all that, but it's okay because the child is more important. So I remember searching 5 minutes up. I go back to the stage, all set to announce. I'm going in. There's something happening there that I can't get to the mic. Something said, "1 minute, wait." I came out. I just closed my eyes and I prayed. I just prayed. I said, if I can get that child, I'd be so grateful, not for my sake, but for that child. And then I went out. Just at that moment, I said, "God, please help." And I just opened my eyes. Can you imagine there were, I don't know, 100, 200, or maybe 300 chairs. At that moment, I was in the aisle. And exactly opposite to me was this child. It was still dark, but the shadow I could see. I said, "Chaitra?" She turned around. "Yes, teacher," she said. I just hugged her. I said, "Chaitra, who are you with?" She said, "With my father." The father had come early from Mysore and had picked up the child. The mother didn't know.
Oh my God.
This was one of the many, many episodes that helped me, have tremendous faith in this power.
Yeah.
And it just got more and more stronger.
Yeah, that's amazing. Mama, was this initially in the years? Because I know the time that it really got strong was when you took your jump.
Yeah.
So this was that around that time, or was this before that?
No, much
Was
before,
much before.
much
If
before.
it was in school, then it was much before.
Yeah.
This was even before you started buoyancy then.
Yes, much before. I was working as a teacher in
Yeah,
Tamil.
yeah.
Must have been in 93, 92,
Wow.
91 or so.
So it's always
91 or
been
92.
there. These
Yeah.
glimpses have always been there. And in fact, Mama wanted to speak about Ai and what a role she has played. Like, I remember when, this is for everybody, I'm sure you all must be having grandmothers like this. Every night when we used to sleep on the bed with her, she used to keep reciting. She used to make us learn these shlokas, and it's not even like, okay, sit and learn. No, she used to just keep singing. And like, until today, when I I feel like flustered, I remember her voice singing Sri Ram Jai Ram.
Yeah.
The way she used to sing that, oh my God, that was just, I can still feel it. So she has, I mean, you spent your entire childhood with her, and you mentioned that she's had such an influence on you. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what is it that you remember from there, and how it has probably, has it contributed to, that akar, the framework of the spiritual life that you walked into?
Yeah, I don't know, she was the star in my life, I think. I used to, because till I was about 5, maybe I was with her, and after that I went to my parents, and I had a lovely relationship with them too. But that those initial years had made their impact. So I used to wait for vacations when I could, be with her, because that bond had already been formed. And we shared a very, very special relationship. And somehow I got a lot of, I wasn't bold. I think I got that from her. I would like to share a very funny incident. We had got, tickets for a film.
Hmm.
So one of our neighbors, a girl, I mean, I must have been around 13 or 14 then, and she was also 14, my friend. So both of us were around 14 years old, and we had gone and got tickets, very boldly, for the afternoon matinee show. I don't remember how, but by mistake, the tickets got torn. So they were literally in two pieces, and we were like, oh my God, what do we do now? And we haven't yet gone for the show. So I told my grandmother. So like Ashwini said, I used to call her, we call her Ai. We used to call her. She's not there anymore. So I said, Ai, what do we do now? She said, what? Go. I said, but how can we go with these torn tickets? She just looked at me like, how can you, not realize that it's so simple? And she just walked with us, to the theater, and we went there, and there was this man standing there. She just went boldly to him and said, see, these two kids, they want to go in, and this is their ticket, it's torn. Okay, he said, and he took it, and we went in. And oh my God, at that time the Superman films hadn't come in, but at that moment, for me, she was a superpower. After that, I think I
Yeah.
too did things like that. After that, I think I did do things like that. But that was, a revealing.
Standing up for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it was only spiritual.
Yeah.
It was so many other things that I learned from her. Emotional
Small things.
strength.
Mm.
Yeah. Emotional strength, bonding, keeping the family together.
Oh, is
Just
it
being.
from her, ma?
Yeah, she. I think I owe a little bit of gratitude to my grandfather too, because he got the entire families. That time they used to all be in villages in South Canara, so they all came down to Mumbai thanks to both of them.
Oh, so
So they
sweet.
managed to get them all. So all her brothers and sisters, and whoever, they were brought here and given good financial support and all that. I think that time it used to be like that, Ashwini. I know even Papa, my father, his aunts also have done things like that. Maybe my grandparents also have done. It was the culture then, to support
Mm.
one another, and help people to come out of their, uh, if they were, doing not doing well in life. uh, Pulling them out of it was a natural part of a family's responsibility, I think.
Mama, that's so beautiful. And I think you have adapted that and taken it so far and wide, and you've made the world your family. Because so all of you must be knowing these social workers and this and that. So mama is the non-termed social worker. She is personification of social work. That's really how I see it. She is, if there's some problem anywhere, she appears, like how these gods and goddesses appear out of nowhere. If there anybody has an issue, mama comes in. So she's like that. I don't know how she does it and how she's had the strength. So of course, right now I'm so happy that she's retired. I've been wanting her to do that, take time off from work, not retire. I didn't think she'd retire, but I'm so grateful that she did. I'm so happy about that. But even when she was working full time, she used to take care of her family. She used to take care of the house. She used to take care of Amma, my grandmother, my dad's mother, everything in her old age. She used to take care of all of that. And she used to do social work everywhere. She used to go and help everyone. I'm like, what is this superwoman? Like, I can't even fathom that kind of strength, mama. Like, physical strength, mental, emotional, too. Because everybody, comes with their own stories. They come with their own baggage. It's like when they come to you, that baggage just melted away. And frankly, I'm not saying this as her daughter. This is for everybody who's watching. It's not at all as her daughter. I'm saying this as an individual. You ask anyone, like even my friends, they say, okay, if there is some, like height of some issue that they have, okay, now it is time for me to talk to your mom because I know she's going to solve it. That's how it is. It comes from that space. So everyone knows that she, like, when they talk to her, there's some kind of divine intervention. And mama, I feel like that particular aspect comes from a lot of surrender and faith and bhakti. It just comes from that complete, letting go of anything that you may be holding on to. So, okay, so you have been doing that. You have had this childhood where you did that, but is there some place where you felt like it started getting stronger, or is it just it naturally came to you? Oh,
It got it got.
there you are.
Yeah. Can you repeat it again? Can you repeat
what I said was, so everything that came to you, you've had in your childhood, you've had a very strong force that contributed to this, right? It was very strongly there with you. But did you find any phase in your life where you felt it getting stronger, that you felt like this power getting more powerful? How did that happen? What was that experience like, and what contributed to it?
Okay, so like I told you, at Ai's place, it was definitely strong. And when I came to my parents' place, also, both my parents were very God loving, and they also had their share of contributing to my, having that firm faith. Uh, but I think at that time it was a very formless. It was there, but I didn't realize whether it was strong or weak. I just knew it was there until buoyancy began. So when buoyancy began, what actually happened was that I started taking it. I knew I had this indescribable talent where children were concerned. I would just know what I should say to whom to get that child to simply blossom. So I knew I had that, and that's how I got into education. And then buoyancy began. I need to thank Ajit for it, Papa. I need to thank him because he said let's do something different for kids because that's what is the need of the hour. And so that's how buoyancy began. So as buoyancy began, we started getting children who were special, had special needs. So sometimes I would talk about it to a family, and I hope Swati is watching. I think she could be watching. So she by then had got connected to our mat. So till then I was not at all connected to our Samaj. I know now it was for a reason, but at that time it wasn't there. So I knew we had a Guru Parampara, but it wasn't, it didn't play a big role in my life right then. So she was the one, she said, why don't you go and take japa, Mantradeeksh from our Swamiji? So I said, what? No, I mean, I don't think because I'm a little uncomfortable with that. So she said, why don't you just try it or something like that? And she filled the form. And when Amma, my mother-in-law and me, we were like, mates in so many ways. So many things, like I gave up non-veg, she gave up non-veg. When I wanted to take japa, she took japa. I started a particular, fast, she too would start. So we were, comrades in so many ways. So Swati filled both our forms, and both of us together went to take our Mantradeeksh. And when I took it, I really didn't have a great, expectation or anything from it, because Swati said, look, I know that you are doing spiritual work, and if you get this, believe me, it will help you. So I thought, okay. So I went and I just took it. Here I'd like to mention my father. There's one recorded message in my mind that keeps working constantly, and that was, drilled in by my father. He used to keep saying, if you do something, do it right or don't do it at all. So that I never wanted to reach that don't do it at all. So I thought I may as well start doing things right. So even when I got my japa from Swamiji and I started it, I don't know what happened. On an internal basis, I just got connected to the gurus, the mat, my what we call an ishtadev, and the spiritual path just opened up. Even then, I wasn't aware of it, and I used to do it. I used to do it properly, like exactly how I was told to do it. I was doing it like that, and just there, in that 10 minutes, 5 minutes, perhaps became 10 minutes, and I just got connected. 10 months later, we got Anand Ashram. So Ashwini would know about it. And yeah, okay, we got it. So nothing very great about it, I thought, until somebody asked Papa, 2 or 3 people, I believe, asked him, is there someone in your house who meditates? So he said, yes, my wife. And they told him, tell her it's because of her you got the land.
Wow.
To me, that was huge, because I had not underestimated or overestimated. I was doing it. And I definitely felt very connected with that divine power that I always had faith in, but I wasn't really interacting with, perhaps. That was the turning point. Yeah. When I heard that, I thought, oh my God, okay. And let me do it with now, okay, more intensity, perhaps. And that completely transformed me. Yeah. That was the phase.
And so this is where she started from. And for those of you who are watching or don't follow me on Instagram, I put a story about this. So Mama's sitting up on the terrace. So my room's just connected to the terrace, and Mama's sitting up on the terrace, and that's where she does her meditation. And there was this one evening, this just happened in this time, like just this period of quarantine. This is when it's happened, all of this. That monkey started coming during her meditation time, and she would just be completely unflustered by it. She would just be like, I would be, at the door looking, peeking and seeing, are they climbing up on her or what? She would just be like, okay, they're eating fruits beside her and they're eating everything from our garden beside her. And she's just in her own thing, and she wouldn't bother also. Then one evening, it started raining. And I went up, I said, is she going to get up? What is going to happen? And she was continuing. So I said, what can I do? I don't have an umbrella at home. None of us use an umbrella. We love getting wet. But during meditation, and I knew she'd just, Mama, it was 5-10 minutes, no, after you had started. Now she does her job for like, I don't know, hours together. So I was just wondering, how is she going to last in the rain? 1.5 hours, I think, after that, she was just in the rain. It just blew my mind. I captured it and put it up as a story, and I said, if this is not a yogi, then what is I listen to you, all of us hear these stories about, okay, this rishi has gone up on this mountain, standing on a tree or standing on one leg, whatever, in the rain and snow, and I'm seeing it, it's on my terrace. So it was like that. It's really as funny as it is, I'm laughing about it, but no, it's amazing how mama, it's created this
Ashwini.
kind of, it allowed me to see like a whole different level of how deep your yoga can go, where I know that she did not get a cold, she did not fall sick. I mean, all of that, just it you go beyond that space of this having any effect on you, like external things having any effect on you. And it has, of course, it's been a journey that brought you here, mama. So I want to go back to the time where what made you feel like, and this is something that I have written in your description as well, that one after the other she just started giving up on things. Like, of course, non-veg was still, a lot of people do that, but it's sort of like, I can't say it's taking sannyas, because she's still very much in the world and living in this world and living with her family and this and that, but she spends the whole day in the outdoors, connecting with nature, connecting with everything that's around. As you know, monkeys and dogs, of course our dog is here, but there are animals around and all of that. But there was a time when she started giving up. She said, I don't want to wear any of these fancy earrings anymore. She stopped wearing gold. I think just some gold stud she wears, and she's never changed. She hasn't changed her earrings from ages. She stopped wearing neck pieces, just her mangal sutra that she wears. She stopped jewelry. She removed her rings. She removed everything. The lots of things, like one after the other, she just started giving up on. And when I remember her birthdays used to come, it used to be so hard, because I'm like, what do I give to mama? She does not want anything. What do I even gift her? It came to that stage. So my mom is very different from any other mom. Like, a lot of people say, oh, I enjoy doing this with my mom, going shopping and this. And I was like, I have never had such experiences with my mom, but I can talk to her about spirituality, and I can talk to her about reaching beyond the body. And mama, I can't thank you enough for these experiences, because anything and everything that I do right now, it's the base has come from you. So of course there's so much learning, and there's so much that is there, and I'm not even an iota of it, but there's so much that you very easily gave up on. What was going through your mind at that time? Was it some decision that you took that made you do it, or was it just like, I don't feel like doing this anymore, so I don't do it?
Yeah. Okay. So I'd definitely like to make a comment here. You said, how did you give up?
Yeah.
Believe me, they gave up. They gave up on me. And they are continuing to do it. I think they thought, इसके पास रह के कोई फायदा नहीं है, हम इसको छोड़ के जाएंगे. Literally, it happened like that. Yeah. I just one day didn't want to. I mean, I think I'd like to give an example of this. So, during the buoyancy programs, we also used to put up a show. So I remember before that, I just stopped putting lipstick.
Yeah.
I felt I didn't want to. I just stopped. So when that show came on stage, if you put a little bit, you're supposed to put a little bit of makeup. So in fact, we recommend that to children also. So if children don't want to, then I cajole them, saying, you know what, it won't look nice on stage. So I remember I picked up the lipstick and I applied it. I can't tell you what I felt. My body rebelled, like, how dare you do this to me?
Oh my God.
That was it. I just, stopped. Yeah. So once they have left me, not just ornaments, but other things also. Like, I remember I used to love learning Kathak, but I just stopped. I didn't want to do it anymore. I used to love practicing music. I just stopped. I'm not singing anymore. I think there are two things that are working here. One is that when you get deep into your meditation, uh, you kind of prefer to not be in the public eye. I mean, for me, it's like that. That's why I
Yeah.
used to be not very comfortable with my classes in buoyancy also. I used to do it because I felt it was his will. I used to do it. And when the lockdown happened, I felt it was a sign that I
Yeah.
could move away. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
would have continued to do it because the same principle. It's the right thing to do it, do it. And do
Yeah.
it well.
Do
So
it
that's
well.
the way it's, yeah.
Thank
So
you,
things
Nana,
just,
for that. I know Mama taught us
yeah,
that as well. I didn't know that
yeah.
that's where it came from. I know he's watching, so thank you, Nana.
Okay, yeah.
um, Mama, that's really beautiful about these things giving up, and I mean connecting exactly to that. I wanted to ask you something about ask means like I want to know more about this, and I want everyone to know more about this because one of the key aspects of yoga is swadhyaya. And like I remember there was this time, and I also kind of go in and out of it, that I don't feel like reading anymore. And I remember this happened to you years ago. This happened to me just a few years ago, and I am not completely there. Still I can read a little bit, then I just don't feel like, then it comes back, so it's on and off. But with you, I remember the time that you gave up on books, or books gave up on you. So you stopped reading, you didn't feel like reading anymore, but still there's so much swadhyaya happens. It's an unending learning process. So for everybody, can you tell us more in detail about swadhyaya, and that it is not just from books?
Yeah. So again, we belong to a community, Chitrapur Saraswats. We are Chitrapur Saraswats, and we have a 300 and to be precise, 312-year-old Guru Parampara. And right now, my Guru is the 11th Guru. So we've had 10 Gurus earlier to that, and because of which, what happens is we have a rich website in which we have swadhyayas posted of our Swamiji, speaking at different places. So it's literally rich. It's a treasure trove of. So here I'd really like to say something very nice. Um, when you get into this kind of a spiritual zone, you start taking more care of your body, according to me. Not just your body, but your mind, your emotions. Like, you generally go into that holistic approach. So when I stopped going to buoyancy, I was wondering what I would do at home, and I was especially frightened whether I would get into sleeping too much, or getting into lethargic modes of living. So I planned, what do I do now? So the first danger point was post lunch. So you know what I did? I have my phone. God bless technology for that. So I have my earphones. I have my phone. So the minute I have my lunch, I try to have it a little late. So around 1:30, I have lunch, and as soon as my lunch is over, I pick up my phone. I pick one swadhyay. Most of the swadhyay is maybe about an hour and a half, but I use it for as much time as I need. I push myself. So what I do is I walk. So I'm listening and I'm walking, and so I don't need to look. That that has gone. I don't need to see, Swamiji or something like that. So I'm just like listening, and I'm learning. I'm understanding. I don't sleep. I'm exercising because I'm just walking from one room to the other because at
Yeah.
that time it's too hot upstairs. So I'm just walking. So my weight gets controlled, my sleep gets controlled, and only at a particular time I go to sleep. So at that time I'm doing swadhyay. So swadhyay basically is self-study. So I may read a lot of books. I may know a lot of things, but swadhyay is when I'm able to digest it. So the digestion is not easy, especially in the spiritual realm. It's not at all easy. I may
Mama,
understand it. I may know it. I may understand it also, but I may not be able to apply it in my life.
Yeah, Mama, here I want you to also add in about Manan and Nididhyasan, please.
Okay, sure. So basically, there are three levels of learning for everyone. This is nothing to do with spirituality. It's to do with anything that you do. Let's suppose, let's take a math problem. Imagine a math class is going on. So first you're listening. So there is Shravan going on. So you're listening and you believe that you're understanding. Okay. Later on, you go and start working out a sum. Now you are chewing the cud. Okay. So that's called Manan. So you have picked up a few points and you believe that you have understood it. Now you are, literally ruminating upon it. So that is Manan. So that's a second level. And once you say, yes, I got it, because the sum has come out right. Maybe you do another sum, a third sum, and a fourth sum, and by the time you do the fifth sum, you have come into Nididhyasan. I mean, it's a very layman point of view.
Yeah.
It's not that easy in the spiritual realm, but basically this is what it means. So many people are thrilled about Shravan.
Yeah.
They know a lot. They've maybe read a lot of books. They've heard a lot of things. Yeah. But it's just, they have just listened. You need to go to Manan, which is मन में रख के उसके बारे में सोचना. Manan. Yeah. And then the third level is Nididhyasan, wherein now you are completely at ease with that particular concept, that particular thought or that belief.
An application of it in different aspects.
You now, it's yours. You have made it yours. Maybe you can put it like
it's become a part of you, and then it becomes a part of your beliefs, and it becomes a part of your life, the way of life. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's really beautiful. Okay. Ma'am, oh, so nice. The time is 7:36. Okay. So one thing here is that I definitely, as all of you have seen, Mama's told us a few stories, and she's so amazing at narrating things that I personally am very visual, so I see all of that happen. And I actually saw you walking down that aisle and calling Chaitra. So, so please tell us a story, Mama. I would love to hear a story from you of anything that even from our Guru Parampara, some story that inspired you, or anything that people can take away from any one story, that whatever comes to you, whether it is from our Guru Parampara or any sant who has something that you remember, or people who around you have something has happened which was a spiritual experience, anything that we can, I'm going to just leave it up to you, anything that you want to say.
Okay. Okay, because you spoke about the Guru Parampara, maybe I'd like to share something from there. We have a Guru Parampara Charitra in which there are beautiful, the whole life history of all our gurus and how, they came. So there's one beautiful story that has amazed me, and perhaps it can teach a lot of people, something about life. So I'd like to share that. So we have one of our mutts is in Mallapur. There's a place called Mallapur, which is many people would know Gokarn. I think last time your guest was from Gokarna.
Yes.
So Swamiji, Swami Yogaratna was from there. So from Gokarn, maybe I would say about an hour and a half journey. There is a small hamlet called Mallapur in which we had our fourth Swamiji, Shankarashram Swamiji Dvitiya. That's how we address them. So Swamiji was, ailing. So he had a fever, and people knew it, and they would wonder how, in spite of everything, he would go and he would do his anushtan, as we call it, which is a special prayer that is done by the Guru. So he used to do it, and it just so happened one lucky, devotee perhaps happened to pass by, and he noticed something odd. All of you must have noticed that most of the Swamijis carry what is called a danda. So there is this the saffron covered and a kind of stick which is called danda. So that was placed in just behind him, behind Swamiji, and this person looked. He was shocked. The danda was actually, moving. It was just, shivering. I could put that. And most of us know that when we have very high fever, we shiver. So he looked at it. He was wondering whether he had seen right. He moved away, but he sat there. The minute the Anushthan got over, Swamiji slowly got up, just picked up the danda, and it stopped shivering. Swamiji began to shiver. So just during the Anushthan, Swamiji had transferred the fever onto that danda. Once you get these, I'm sure you must be knowing, you get these siddhis. So you can do things like that. So Swamiji shivering came out, and this devotee just went and, folded his hands at Swamiji. I don't know whether I should have, but I noticed this. So Swamiji looked at him and said, or something like that. The person said, Swamiji, I'm just asking you, why did you take it back? When you have the power to, transfer, and anyway, I don't think it's going to make a difference to that. After all, it's an object. So why did you take it back? And Swamiji just looked at him and smiled and said, there is something called prarabdha, something that we have to go through. And if I learn to take that as his will, okay, that is the beauty of being a human being. If I choose to pick that up and go through it, the only reason I did, because I needed to do my Anushthan properly. After that, I'm taking it back because it's okay if I'm uncomfortable. That's the way life is. So when I look at that particular story, I realize that all of us need to learn from it. I generally shirk anything. We all don't like. None of us like pain. So you were talking about me sitting in the rain and all that. Remember that on the spiritual path, pain is something that is accepted, and what do you say? We make friends with it. I mean, I've been trying to do that. So that's called tapas. So tapas is a part of. So I think that story is something that's
beautiful.
I felt like sharing.
That's beautiful. I'm sure all of us learned so much from that and all the stories that you've told until now. Ma, we have a question that's come in, so I'm going to go into that. Auntie, my question is, everyone under you flourish so well. How do you allow yourself to become a medium of growth for someone else? Especially, I have seen parents doing everything as a human. I sincerely believe that your choices of parenting is different as well. Yes. Oh my God. Very different. She's not like, I have never seen any mother. I've never seen any father also like my father. I have never seen any mother like my mother. My father also as well. I have written Mama's introduction. Both of them are karma yogis. And I'm sorry, I'm answering this. I haven't even finished the question, but both of them are karma yogis, and the amount that they do for everyone, they don't have anything for themselves. Okay, they just don't have anything in terms of like financial, monetary, what everybody they just give. Everything is given. What everybody runs behind. Mama, it's so funny. There are a lot of people, and this is something I've got from both of them. If something happens to my car, they're like, oh my God, something happened to your car. And I'm like, it's okay. So what's the big deal? And I lose something that I would have just gotten something and I lose it, or my phone. I just don't have anything, any connect to monetary. And I want to thank both of you for that. That kind of when things used to fall, when used to break things as we're growing up, nothing. They never used to have any issue about, oh, I remember Mama, okay, I have to tell this story here. I remember we had gone and Mama, Papa they've had so many problems, financial problems, because of course, like now entrepreneurship is a big thing, but at that time when they started in 92, 91, 92, it was not. No one wanted to help entrepreneurs. They've done everything by themselves, and they have had a lot of issues. Like nobody helped them. Very few people, I would say, very few people helped them, and thank you so much for helping them. But they've gone through a lot wherein they had to take care of us as a family as they went through those financial issues. They had a family, they had parents living with them, they had children. That's how they were. And amongst all of that, it was a custom to buy gold during Dhanteras or something like that. And we had gone, you had saved up money, however you had done it. We had saved up money, and Papa, Aku and me had gone. We had gone to this place to buy some gold thing, one for Aku and one for me. I think the first time that I wore it after that was a festival or something that came. I don't even remember. Maybe not festival, just like that. And I lost it. I lost that. It was like a bracelet or something like that, and I lost it. Nothing. I don't remember you shouting at me or not even having that. It's gone, that's it. And I remember that during that time when they have had problems with finances, they have still managed to give people. What is this? What kind of people are you? I don't know. It's like to give somebody, they always have money to give, and they have not once wanted to keep or to I can't even say to save. Like it's just, it's, if it's there, it's not there, they're both okay. So I know that I have been brought up in this family very, very differently. I have never seen any parents like this, to the extent of Papa making us independent, or Mama contributing to us so much spiritually as we've grown up. There's so many things that she's inculcated as a part of us. So yeah, I mean, being detached, they are both so detached. They are very detached. Like Aku and me were in Mumbai when we used to go. I remember, Mama, it's so funny. When I'm out with my friends, suppose I go on a vacation or something, and if anywhere where parents are not there, the parents call up every day and they talk to them. And I'm like, what's happening? Does this happen? Are your parents supposed to do this? And a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's something that's very vague. My parents are not attached to me at all. So yes, this parenting is well, but I'm going to continue this question. Kripalini, I have hijacked your question and I've answered it. Okay. Yeah, I sincerely believe that your choices of parenting is different as well. What's the starting point, and how do we get on that journey of not being such an attached and tight parent?
Ashwini, you gave out the name. So it's Kripalini who asked. So Kripalini, I'd like to just generally talk to you only. I think the secret is our a buoyancy journey especially taught us that each one of us comes with our own script. Somehow a parent feels that he is responsible to write his child's script.
Yeah.
And that's so untrue. That's so untrue. Each one of us has our own script. We have no idea why we have these little souls who come into our life, and then we are put in charge of them, and we give them, we bring them up to the best of our ability, and there are many times when we feel like running the life for them, and we call that love.
Yeah.
In fact, perhaps it's the most unkind thing you can do to them, is to thwart their growth and put a fence around it. What if somebody comes and eats it up? In the bargain, it becomes a bonsai perhaps, and it's not allowed to grow into a full-grown tree. So here I'd like to say that please don't think I'm an expert parent. I've also made mistakes, and sometimes when I look at these two girls, I wonder what we did right.
Everything, ma'am.
Something we did right, but God's grace that they've turned out into good human beings. That's all that we wanted.
Yes.
So that's more important, and they are contributing to the world. So I mean, that's the cherry on the cake.
Mama, I remember this. I remember the place also. We were traveling by auto, to school. Was this the time Anand Ashram was there? I'm not sure. We were traveling by auto, and Mama's put this in our heads from the time we've been kids. I just want you to be good human beings. Less marks doesn't matter. Do this doesn't matter. You have to be good human beings. That's all that matters to them. Nothing else is to matter. Okay. So I remember probably the proudest moment I think Mama had. We were traveling by auto to school. She was dropping me, and Anand Ashram was just opposite. The land that she mentioned they got was just opposite our school. So she used to drop me to school, and she used to take a U-turn and go to that place. So as we were traveling, I think I was in my 9th or 10th standard, and her intention of this question, what do you want to do, Ma? What do you want to be? Was more intended for, okay, what do you want to do in college? What, subjects do you want to take? Which college do you want to go to? That was her intention of the question. I was like, Ma, I want to be a good human being. I remember this. And you had laughed so much, and you were like, okay, I feel like I've done something, I really drilled it so much into her.
Yeah.
That is what I said. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to be good to my family. I want to make sure that everyone's fine and take care of them. I remember I had said all of these things. So that's how much they have both, Mama and Papa have put that on highest priority. And I feel so privileged that, and it was only a matter of example. If they would have just said it, it wouldn't have mattered. I must add this over here because I was just thinking of this. Mama is just so cute. She's so adorable. The other day she said something about someone, and she said the word stupid. I don't remember what. And she said, oh, I'm saying stupid. I'm like, how cute are you? That imagine to that extent, there's none of these negative words in her vocabulary that she feels bad for saying stupid to somebody else. And Mama, for me, it's like I can't even listen to bad language or someone speaking negatively. I have Akku and me, both of us have zero capacity to listen to that. We're like, if you're talking like that, I mean, just don't talk. And by chance, if I say anything like out of anger or something, my friends are like, what happened? You're very angry. If you have said something, with anger, you've said something with anger, that means you must be very, very angry. So that's like my heights of this thing. And that's the kind of, by example, that's what they've said for us. I don't think it has ever been things that they've said, but how much, to what extent they've been examples. And I rarely think, Mama, people are able to be like that, because a lot of people speak. There are trainers and this and that, so many people who are out there doing a lot of work, and I'm like, how many of them are actually examples of that? You all have been, and that's exactly why I've been able to do, Akku and I have been able to, look at that as an example and stand up to it. And I'm so privileged about that. Okay, Mama must be someone who, Vaishali Murdeshwar Basrur has asked, is it essential to take japa? What if you are unable to follow it? What is your opinion, Sadhana Pachi?
Oh. Okay, all I'd like to say is, okay, let me give you an example. So let's suppose now you're watching the show, and you really like say what I'm saying, or maybe you like what Ashwini is saying, and you really want to get personally in touch with her. What would you do? Wouldn't you take her phone number? Would you not like to take her phone number and call her up? So for me, the day, like I said, my sister-in-law, God bless her, and every time when the day I got my japa, I see to it that I thank her for it, because she changed my life thanks to that. So once I took it, I realized it's a personalized phone number of the Lord. You just connect like, you can't even imagine. And if you do it properly, like I told you, I used to do it only for 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes, I was just there, 100% there. I wouldn't think of the milkman or the chores to be done, or I have to get back. I mean, I have to go in time somewhere. No, Those 5 minutes were mine. So another thing that I'd like to recommend is that many people look at it as something that's going to bind you. But you know what, Vaishali, let me tell you one thing. Your japa will free you. It will actually free you from unnecessary bonds. We give importance to things that are not important, and we don't prioritize what is important. So if you have asked this question, let me tell you, yes, please just go ahead. Even if you start with 5 minutes, the 5 minutes will lead you, like, so you slowly start, it starts growing upon you. So that's how now it's like an hour and a quarter. I
Yeah.
remember, I have an uncle called Anantu Mam. He is a Tamilian, basically married a Konkani, and so I take the, I call him, I don't call him uncle, I call him mom. So I remember years ago, before I took japa, once when I visited him, my aunt, she said, I asked her, where's Anantu mom? And she said, he just sat down for his japa. Did you want something? I said, no, I don't want. Then I asked her, will he take long? She said, he'll take about an hour. And I was like, an hour? How can anyone sit for an hour? I just can't believe it. I've reached there myself, and it's the most
So
beautiful
nice,
place to be.
Mama. Oh my God, that must feel surreal. That something, Mama. This reminds me of something. Like I remember someone telling me when I think we were learning Bharatnatyam, and for us calling was always Kathak. So someone told me I've been learning Kathak for 4 years, and this was Supriya, Ashitami's friend. Okay, so at that time I said, "Wow, how it must be to learn Kathak for 4 years." And now, just imagine, for me, 4 years happened 10 years ago or something. So it's you go way beyond that into a surreal feeling. You look at that and you feel like, wow, it's something huge. But then when you start walking on that path, it just becomes naturally there. If it fits with you, it just naturally
I
fits with you.
suppose destiny also plays a role. I'm so sorry, Ashwini. May I go back to that Swadhyay question of yours?
Please,
1 minute.
yeah.
So basically, Swadhyay is a self study. So it doesn't mean that I need to read a lot of books. And here, please, I definitely recommend, especially Hindus, if you can read the Bhagavad Gita, actually even the Bible or the Quran, whatever, any religious book, remember those words are precious. So even if you read, say, one verse a day and then just ponder upon it, that's what I said. So Shravan and then Manan, uh, you cannot even imagine. There's so much to learn. I mean, it's a treasure trove of ideas, which can help in your daily life. So it's not that, you need to have gray hair and only then go in for Swadhyay. And it's not that you have to, collect a lot of books and
Yeah.
read them. In fact, it's hardly anything of that. I mean, it's just like maybe you just listen to something interesting and then you mull upon that idea, and it leads you to a different, spot altogether.
Hmm.
So it's a fantastic
Yeah.
place to be in. So Swadhyay is a must. Some kind of, some idea that you pick up and then you just think about it. And if you get some reading material that, that would make that firm, why not?
Yeah, that's nice, Mama. We have another question that's come in.
Okay.
One last, and I think wait, I'm just trying to read it. Um, Again, someone's asking about parenting, how to detach. Mama's already spoken about that, so you can probably go back and read it. And today's parents, I believe, play blame games. So, what lesson will you give them or tips so that children don't get into that blame trap?
Oh, that's a very beautiful question. Okay, so what do you mean by a blame game? Why does one blame another one? Because I'm scared to face myself. So
Hmm.
the minute, like, let's suppose we are having a pillow fight. So I have a pillow and I want to throw it at somebody else, not realizing that they have a pillow that they're going to throw on me, because that's how the fight is about. So I think this blame game generally happens when we are very frightened to accept that we have made a mistake. So perhaps one thing that every family must do is open up communication and be unafraid of accepting something that has gone wrong. So here, one of the tips that we used to give at Buoyancy, and that really works: find facts, not faults. This went wrong. Okay, so my child is now addicted to the phone. It's because of you. No need to say that.
Yeah.
My child is addicted to the phone. Now, how do I get him out of it? So then there's no blame game. And like Ashwini said, and like I said, I watched my parents, I watched my grandparents, she watched her parents. So remember, your children are watching you. And there's this beautiful poem that says, when you thought I wasn't looking, I looked and I learned. So I think we are classic,
Yeah.
role models for that. We looked and we learned. So remember, can you just do this for the sake of your children? Can you just do this for the sake of their future? Because they are getting into a world that where they need to be equipped. So here again, what I would say is, another thing that helps you to be detached is knowing that there's a master organizer and that he is taking care of everything. So you just keep that, you do what is right, you do what you need to do. Automatically you'll find that, like Ashwini said, we have had high highs, we've had high ups and we've had low downs.
Yes.
But nowhere did the faith falter. I think for me, that was my greatest, I'm grateful for that my
Yeah.
faith never faltered, nor did, we all, in fact, got closer during those downs. So the detachment comes out of knowing that there's somebody taking care of you, and nothing in this world is negative. Everything, there's a reason, there's a purpose. So what seems negative need not be actually negative.
True. But I very clearly said this is the last this thing, and I wanted to end with a bhajan. Mama, by then please think of a bhajan, because I'm not letting you go without singing something. Okay, you have to sing. But I have to ask this question because this is really nice. Since we're talking about the same topic, someone has asked from the child's point of view. You told about the child being a bonsai. How can one not be without hurting the parent? If the parent is doing this to the child, then how can the child respond? Because you know that the parent is doing this to you. So how, what would the child do?
Oh, okay. So if the child starts becoming aware, now here I have a note of caution. Very small children, say up to sixth, fifth, okay, fourth or fifth, at that age, if they correct parents, there's something
Hmm.
very wrong. There's something very wrong. Even if my parent is not doing right to me, I can, most of the time, children who are correcting their parents, it's not that the parents are doing wrong. The child feels that, the child becomes authoritative.
Yeah.
So that's not a very nice place to be. So I think I would just like to mention there, that's not really something that can be recommended. Even if your child wants to correct you, there's a way in which they can say. But above six, about like teenagers or 11, above 11 years old, if the child is feeling claustrophobic or, feeling this thing, what I would suggest is, when the parent, usually they are close to one of the parents at least. So if they could tell the parent when the parent is in a good mood, just try to say that, ma, I, what I do, I can manage this myself. Can you just let me do it myself or something like that? Perhaps it would be possible. I would like to share a joke, Ashwini. You know what? When I used to be in Kamal, I used to cook in a very big hurry, and inevitably, the villain of the piece used to be salt. So inevitably, I used to put more salt. Okay. So what happened? Somebody told me, if you put raw potato, that
Yeah.
potato, absorbs the salt. So I was thrilled with that. And okay, so I started doing that. Now one day I still remember Shoma Akku. She asked me, Ma, I'm just asking you. this potato in this curry, is it because of the salt or is it supposed to be there? That is the last day I used the potatoes for I felt so bad. I realized I had overdone it. She said, "Is this a potato curry or is the potato there because of the more salt?" So I'm just giving
That's
I
really
shared
funny.
that as a joke, but children could have a diplomatic way in which they could correct the parents, perhaps, if they realize, if they are aware that their personality is being stunted because of a parent. That's one idea, and the second idea is, I think, just bear with it. If once you're aware of it, then you can proceed in spite of it. I feel if the child is aware of it, that means the
You can
child is
still
really
grow.
mature.
Yeah.
The child is mature enough to realize, and believe me, children with bad parents can turn out to be excellent.
Yeah.
There's
Definitely seen
no,
that as
I
well.
don't know how that works, but there's no connection there at all.
And they also choose the opposite, which is really nice to see.
Absolutely. I completely believe that now you were saying so many things, good things about how grateful we need to be, Ashwini. That's all
Yeah,
I can say.
mama.
In fact, I think I didn't say to speak about Papa's family, like my in-laws. Wonderful. And in-laws family, the whole family, cousins, and my mother-in-law was, I don't know what to say. I have no words. Such a marvelous person she was. So
Really.
we've just been very, very, very lucky.
I'm very, very grateful for each one of you and every single person who's watching this as well. Vidyaka, Nana, they're watching. Thank you so much for giving us in so many ways, and I'm so grateful for these sanskaars that I've been brought up with, which contribute so much to everything. So I am definitely grateful for that. And Mama, thank you so much for this absolutely wonderful tête-à-tête that we've had. It's so heartwarming that I got to do this with you. It's been such a personal journey as well. And we've never spoken about these things. So it's so nice that we got to speak about this today. And please end with a bhajan right now. Anything that you feel like singing.
Any suggestion?
I will say Hey Guru only. Mama, you've been singing that on the terrace now. So it runs in my mind, ma. Which is that song you keep singing on the terrace nowadays?
Chandrasekhar, is it?
Yeah.
Chandrasekhar
Yes.
Ashtakam? Okay, I'll just check if I have, because for that I need the lyrics. I'll just check if I have it. Yeah, that's such a beautiful bhajan. Basically, it's a stotra, which is I don't know. Yeah, I think I have got it. I think so. Check. Yeah. Just one verse will do.
Yeah, Mama. Just a little bit. Anything.
चन्द्रशेखर 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 पाहि माम् चन्द्रशेखर 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 रक्ष माम् रत्नसानुशरासन रजताद्रिशृङ्गनिकेतनम् सिञ्जीकृतपन्नगेश्वरमच्युतानन सायकम् क्षिप्रदग्धपुरत्रयं त्रिदिवालयैरभिवन्दितम् चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यमः. I'm sorry.
I don't want you to stop, Ma. But I have the privilege to listen to her anytime that I want.
Okay, I just like to end on this note. I don't know why you mentioned this particular bhajan. Every religious hymn, it could be a bhajan, it could be just a hymn, it could be just a stotra, anything. If you know the meaning, it can it can put you into a different frame of mind. So this particular bhajan, if you noted the words, the last line says, when I am with the Lord of, the Chandrasekhar, that means the one who has the moon on his head, Lord Shiva, what can Yama do to me? King karishyati vai Yamaha. Yamaha is Yama. So I'd like to end with this note saying that death need not be only when I stop breathing. I die every time I tell a lie. I die every time I cheat. I die every time I want to hurt somebody. So when I have this precious faith, that shraddha, that nishtha, that he's always there. And when he's there with me, I don't have to die. I don't have to be scared of death.
Oh my God, Mama, that's beautiful. And it redefines the meaning of death also, because a lot of people are scared of death. Like with Kripalini, when we had the Tête-à-tête, we spoke about that and how she got over her fear of death and all of that. And death is not at all something to be fearful of. And this is not speaking about that death. It's about being alive, and there are experiences where you experience death while living. So it's about overcoming those things. That's so nice. Mama, thank you so much. This has been so beautiful. And on popular demand, I know everybody's going to ask for this. I really want a recording of this. I'm going to record this and put it up somewhere. I don't know what I'm going to do, but because I want to keep listening to you, especially the way you take the Chandrasekharam Ashray. I feel I have goosebumps when you say that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I would make a difference to all of you. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.